What's up, everybody? Welcome to our full moon reading. We already did the collective reading with pleasure. We did all the signs to see how it will relate to this new moon. And I kind of did it backwards because now we're going to look at the sun-moon opposition. You know, every time there's a full moon, the sun is opposing the moon, so we always kind of feel a tug of war kind of sort of thing. And beings that the full moon is in Scorpio. Scorpio's ruler is Pluto. There's also Pluto, the moon, and the sun. A T-square. Now a T-square is when there is an opposition and two squares between three or more planets. And we have the sun, the moon, and Pluto at that. There's two squares and opposition between Pluto, the moon, and the sun. And Pluto is the ruling planet of Scorpio, with the moon in Scorpio opposing the sun, which is in Taurus, the opposite of Scorpio. Now here, Pluto and Scorpio represent death and anything under the surface. And not only that, but a very important thing right before April 23rd's full moon will be 100% full at 7:49 Eastern time, 4:49 Pacific time. And another big thing that's happening right around this time is right before this full moon, 3 days before, on April 20th. Well, first, the most important thing, April 21st is my birthday. But after that, the next and most important thing is the Jupiter-Uranus in Taurus. This conjunction, now a conjunction is the opposite of opposing. You think is the opposite. They're looking straight across. There's opposing forces. This is like where you get the tug of war type feeling. Now with a conjunction, you look at this astrologer, what's his name? Longstrom? Something. I watch him all the time. He's really good. He always has insightful information. But he explains it as the one planet being the big hand on a clock and the other planet being the little hand. And when they both come at 12 o'clock, this is a conjunction. And this conjunction is like them both being at 12 o'clock a.m. because we have the end of the day at 11:59 and we have the beginning of a new day at 12 o'clock a.m. So we have a lot of beginnings and endings, and Jupiter is it's a benefic planet. It gives you it's the luck planet. Jupiter is also Jupiter expands things and it enlarges things and it blesses things. Uranus is you think of lightning and sudden breakthroughs or sudden changes, like lightning comes striking down in a minute. So we think of these sudden changes with Jupiter and with the sun and the moon and Pluto. So we are going through a very deep transformation, not only ourselves individually, but on a collective level as a whole as well. I also like to look at the minor planets, or what are they called, like the little dwarf planets or asteroids, like Pallas and Juno and Vesta. You know, we could start with Pallas, that Pallas was the second asteroid to be found. And one of the largest. When you think of Pallas, Pallas is the goddess of wisdom and useful arts and prudent warfare. Pallas reveals your natural strengths, and so when you think of Pallas, problem solving techniques and strategies. This is also being on the defense, being like thinking critically, critical thinking, and you think of creative intelligence, things like this. This is like thinking out of the box and using critical thinking to get out of some kind of battle or warfare. This is like being in the middle of a war and strategically planning it out to win, even if this Mercury retrograde with Venus and Mars, this too can bring that like shaken up, and it makes you look over things, look over your relationships, look over your belief systems, your values, your friendships, the way that you live. You're looking at all these important aspects of your life or of yourself. That's Vesta. You're looking at the fire within. And this is saying you're going to be tested, but do not falter. Do not give in. You want to hold on. And even if you are in a triggering situation or it looks like a no-win situation, you want to hold on to the end, because even if you do fail, we are going to learn something so valuable and be able to take this with us for forever. You know what I mean? This is resolving old wounds, and this is helping us heal, like we talked about in the full moon reading and the Chiron. Like, Chiron has a lot to do with this. This Mercury is going to pass it through Chiron 3 times, I think, within this month of April. So this sends us in different directions, especially with Uranus and Jupiter. It's like if we hold out through this up time, we're going whatever we're going through, then we're going to be gifted in a sense. Like I said, our long-held beliefs will be questioned, so you want to have an open mind at the time. We also spoke about this in the full moon reading. We pulled a bunch of cards. We are going to see what comes up. The main one that came up for our full moon collective reading was the word pleasure. So we'll probably get that word or some kind of words. I thought I flipped some over, so I guess I didn't. What do we need to know as a collective? Alright, so yeah, this is important. And this is what Vesta says as well. Scorpio came right out on top too. Scorpio, Virgo, stop plans. Maybe we're stopping our plans. Leo, maybe we're stopping our plans. Stopping being so serious. We talked about this. We talked about creating a game out of it, even if it is in a dire life or death situation or something of that sort. It still is very beneficial. Even army dudes did this, marine dudes did this, they did this. There was 2 men that got stuck on this huge mountain in the blistering weather snowstorm, and one of them got stuck and they didn't know what to do. So instead of like panicking, they were using Pallas, their critical thinking in this triggering situation. And they were playing a game. They made a game out of it. And they went down and went up and they made a game out of it. And in the end, I think they both survived. but it was very important for them to work together as a team and to make a game out of it in order for their, for survival. Deception is also coming up here. We can draw some tarot cards to figure out where this deception lies if these cards don't tell us. So probably the deception's coming from our, if it's not us, it's somebody around us, and our, like a wild animal and deception, I think of right away our animalistic behaviors. You think of a wild cat versus like a domesticated cat that been raised in a family with children and stuff. You think of this cat, the wild, the feral animal, the feral feline is going to be more apt to hurt you or to deceive you in a way because they're only acting on their survival mode. There's a part in your brain where when you're in survival mode, it's that fight or flight mechanism where it's like you're strictly in survival mode. This is what this seems like to me, this deception, wild animals. It's like somebody's in survival mode and their first instinct is their animal instinct, and it's not that it's not who they really are, but they're not. They could have like a square to palace at this time where that is just like critical thinking and wisdom is like not even an option to them at this time. Perhaps they do need crystals, and to take time we have turtle, and then we also have Cancer here as well. I think of that like hard shell breaking. Cancer was in the reverse position, and I seen that right away as like the shell of Cancer being like a breakthrough where we are no longer with this hard shell. It's like we're breaking the ice, or we're breaking through, and we do this through introspection, and that this month especially with the full moon in Scorpio with Pluto, this is all about deep dark transformation, and it could be dark times like we talked about in our reading. We talked about these dark times, and not that they're going to be fun, but we will learn a lot from them. And we are looking over our mistakes, our failures. We're resolving old wounds, and like we said in the other reading, you can't heal what you can't feel. So now's the time while we're being put in a position to actually feel this, so that way we can heal. Juno is also involved in this asteroid mix-up, or this conversation, because when these placements, these asteroids or astrological bodies, these celestial beings like Juno and Jupiter, like all of these, when they come together, it's like they're having a conversation, they're talking, whether they're opposing each other or if they're right next to each other, whether they're trying, whatever the case may be. whatever their position is in the sky will tell us what kind of conversation this will be. Is it going to be opposition? Is it going to be they're going to work together like in a trine, or they're going to have some difficulties like a square? Now, with Juno, this talks about commitment and marriage and like intimate relationships. Juno is the queen of all the gods. Juno was Jupiter's wife. She got so jealous when Jupiter made a kid, like, off of the thought of his head. So she went to Flora and was like, yo, help me, you know. So Flora touched Juno with a flower, and she magically had Mars without, you know, a father. So Mars, I didn't know, is fatherless and is the son of Juno, and was made, Juno's also the protector, and it's also the name of June. That's why they say June is the best month to get married in, because, you know, Juno, the goddess of marriage. With Juno, we see like fidelity and infidelity, trust and deception, submission, domination, forgiveness, revenge. We see a lot of this push and pull type energy when it comes, I guess, with Vesta. Now, Vesta means focus or furnace. It means fornax, which is Latin for furnace, which is the baker's oven, which is the fire, the center of the house, health. Vesta is all about the fire within you. Vesta was the one who kept the fire burning under Rome. You know, she had to keep that fire lit. Something happened and they let the fire go out, and there was like major punishments for that. But the symbol for Vesta was the sacred flame. And this gave us secret powers for transformation. So especially with this Pluto and Scorpio and this deep transformation, this is going to give us the focus or the determination we need to get through this transformation. It takes devotion to sustain in a situation, and with Jupiter and Uranus being in Taurus, the Sun being in Taurus. Taurus is the sign who, if any of all the signs, Taurus is the most sign to stick in a situation that they're not comfortable in. It's not, whether it's convenient or not, they're gonna stick through no matter what. And I've been there. I'm a Taurus, and that's how I am, especially in relationships. I will go through the worst of the worst and the darkest of the dark just to take it, or I used to, I should say. I have learned my lesson. But Taurus, you know, they will stick it out. They're stubborn. They'll stay until the very end, until they know that there's no more, you know. But I think now, my palace is very strong compatibility with my Saturn or my Juno or something with Pluto in this transformation, because now I'm like, if it's not working, then it's not working. You know, we're gonna think of a strategy to make it better, you know. So perhaps stopping and that's why we have to stop and think, or stop and plan, because we have this deception, and that deception occurs when our natural instincts are, you know what I mean, how we discussed earlier about the fight or flight. You know, we're vulnerable, we're at a very vulnerable time. Horses have something to do with it. You know, horses are I think they're very good workers, and they don't stop no matter what. So it's like you have to take on this horse energy. I'm sure there's this much more information about the horses and the horse energy. We should take on this horse, the totem animals, these horse characteristics, or the horse spiritual, you know, we have to take on this horse energy. Split the deck, Neptune and victory. So cool information I've learned that made me question my beliefs about things too, is I learned that Neptune was not the original god of the sea. The original goddess of the sea was Neptune's wife. Celestia is the goddess of the sea that's married to Neptune. But Neptune was originally the god of freshwater streams and ponds and like land and stuff like that. But our Vesta is where we're gonna get this sparks of fire within us to get through any situation. Okay, so there's Venus with this Chiron, and this is helping us heal with love around this time. And Uranus makes it more efficient, like a max production. Beauty, courage. This is pressured coming into your own power. Control, manipulation, and complexity. That's why we have to use our intuition. Yeah, we definitely want to break up our routine. Home year, this is like a magic transformation. There's 3 different aspects, and this is like the birth of the island Hawaii. And this is the regenerator and how they gathered help from all over the community and spiritual help. So this is like, it takes a village to raise a child. It's like you're gonna need help from all over. So don't forget to ask for help, you know. We want to focus on our superpower, and our superpower being love, y'all. That was the first one that came up. Okay, so we're longing, yearning. That's Neptune. So what's cool is Saturn has 13 different aspects, which normally Saturn only aspects maybe 3 different times, maybe 5 was the most. This year we have 13 different times that Saturn comes up. This is 13 times in 6 years, which is a lot. This is, and you think of Saturn as being like the ruler, the father, the stern. You think of rules and regulations and, you know, a strict way of doing things. This is our needs, meeting our needs, and, you know, Saturn is very responsible. Saturn has to do with time. This is, I see the light happens to the dark. The dark doesn't happen to the light. The light happens to the dark. Yes, Okay, horses. That's why horses is up here next to Neptune. So not only was Neptune the god of rivers, but he was the god of horses and fields. So I guess now's the time I see get up and go, like, giddy up, giddy up. The rivers and the streams are now defrosting because of the warmer weather. This moon also has to do with the horse weather because the horses are coming out and they're actually working. So this is picking up this speed. I hear like giddy up, giddy up. This is like from when we go from like a trot to like a gallop. And this is what we're gonna do. This is like turning on the transformation knob, the transformation tuner. And we're turning it up, giddy up, guys, because there's gonna be horses in the fields. This is saying like now's the time to get to work, because what we are planting right now, planting, literally or figuratively speaking, whatever we are working on right now is whatever we're sowing now, we're gonna reap. So we want to make sure that what we're doing now, especially during this deep dark transformation period, we are using our critical thinking when going through this. We are controlling our anger, because we have a Mars in Aries. Now Mars is exalted in Aries, especially with this Sun conjunction. It's a very good thing. This is expressing our anger in a good way, but depending on your natal chart, and the stars are always moving, so they're always changing. It's a good thing that we can predict. We know, like, it's the first time this Uranus-Jupiter conjunction, it's the first time in almost 14 years that Jupiter and Uranus came together. It happens every 13 and a half, 14 years. It was 1941 that Jupiter and Uranus came together in the sign of Taurus. First time since 1941 that Uranus and Jupiter have come together in the sign of Taurus. Now, like I said, Taurus is a fixed sign, which they're stubborn. They're we're sticking to it, to the end, They're also stubborn, bullheaded. So perhaps we're going to see some Taurus is also anything material or with your senses. Think of spirituality and your beliefs and your values. So they are going to be questioned with Uranus and Mercury, the information, and especially crossing the North Node. This is going to bring out information to make you question your lifelong beliefs or your lifelong values, like, oh shit, I've been doing it wrong all this time, or is there a better way? Is there a right way? And now is the time where, and if not now, then soon, we will gain this knowledge, or we will learn new information, or we will learn something new, gain new information to make us rethink what, like, for instance, this happened with me when I seen Terrence Howard's video on 1 times 1 equals 2. Like, 1 times 1 does not equal 1. And I mean, if you listen to it, he's right. It defies the whole meaning to multiply. Multiplication In order to multiply anything, multiply itself means to increase in number. So in order for anything to multiply, it has to increase. There has to be more. So if you take 1 times 1 and you get 1, how is that increasing in number? That defies the whole definition of multiplication, which if you have common sense, you think like, well, wow, that's right. Because if I have 2 times 2, that equals 4. Why wouldn't 1 times 1 equals 2? Just like 4 divided by 2 is 2, wouldn't 2 divided by, 1 be 2? Because if I have $2, in order to split it even, I could give you 1 and you 1. There's 2 people. That's 1 times 1. You know what I'm saying? That's multiplication. 1 times 1 equals 1. We're not multiplying anything. The same with 0 times anything. That's the 0 is the number gobbler. You know what I mean? It just gobbles all the numbers. We're not multiplying. That's not multiplication. So I mean, that happened to me where I heard that, and that made me rethink everything I've learned, and I thought back to when I was learning it, and if you think back, like, it didn't make sense then, and it still doesn't make sense now. And some people have cognitive dissonance so bad that they don't even want to see, like Plato's, like the allegory of Plato's cave, how they didn't want to even see the sun. They're about to look him up for even saying, how dare him even say that there's another light source, How dare you say there's another answer to 1 times 1? How dare you, Crystals are also beneficial at this time. I see tiger's eye, I see aquamarine, pearl, lapis lazuli, and red jasper, carnelian, something like that. And Scorpio's stone. Does Scorpio or Pluto have a stone? I would think it would be some kind of like tourmaline or some kind of like deep transformation stone. A lizard is also here. I think of like the lizard people and the bugs. Now's the time the bugs are going to come out. Maybe we could think of a solution to control the bugs. Maybe there's a bug issue. It is spring, now the bugs are coming out. We want to be on defense, so even if there are no bugs now, there's gonna be, so we want to be on like the defense end and almost be protecting of ourselves now, and get ready, using the palace, using our wisdom and our strategy to do this is our best bet at this at the bottom of the deck, y'all. Cry, let it out.